Welcome back. You're still watching the Daily Debate, and as I said in the beginning, I'm honored to be having with me in the program for tonight Dr. Mohamed Azzam, the board member of the International Association for the Management of Technology. Thank you very much once again for being with us tonight. We will be starting with the information technology and the communication 2030 vision or the strategy here in Egypt. What are the pillars of such a strategy, especially that it is one of the main development goals of the Egypt Vision 2030?
Exactly. Actually, you cannot develop any country unless you're going to consume technology to the maximum, and also to have a competitive and resilient ecosystem on the social level, economic level, environmental level. You need to embed technology to the maximum, especially the technology is becoming the backbone for any development in each sector that you can imagine, that including the trade sector, the manufacturing sector, the logistics sector, transportation sector, healthcare sector, just name it. And of course you cannot progress such sectors without employing the technology and embed the technology in each processes that could be implemented within each sector. So technology is there, and of course it's the main pillar for advancing the economy of the country, as well as advancing the society, as well as availing a new horizon and opening new vista for innovation in all fields, in non-ICT fields as well as ICT fields. And of course this is how countries build a competitive and resilient economy, and of course eventually a competitive and resilient society. So this is a lot of pillars. Actually, if we're talking about having a digital Egypt by 2030, actually digital transformation, it has so many pillars, and actually it's a journey. It starts and will never end. Due to many reasons. You need to upgrade your systems all the time. You need to apply different technologies, and there are a lot of emerging technologies that will alter the way we do things and the way you conduct business and the way we learn. So you need to be updated all the time. So Digital Egypt has so many pillars that Egypt as a government, as a nation, they are working in parallel with such pillars, and all the pillars are totally connected, which is you have for the first time integrated holistic approach for advancing our economy and our society to meet with the challenges and to meet with the requirements of the 21st century at large.
Doctor, you mentioned a very important point, which is that this journey of technology and the infrastructure as well, it starts but it never ends. How would you see the start that we have had under the tenure of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi for the past decade in the field of information technology and the infrastructure that will be helping in this field?
Actually, you are trying to cope with the latest technologies with special focus on the ICT infrastructure, because actually you cannot have a sort of digital transformation. You cannot modernize your economy and your society without having the proper robust ICT infrastructure, that including the landline or the internet over the landline, having high-speed mobile internet. Now we are having the fourth generation mobile networks, and we are heading towards the fifth generation mobile network. This will avail you or will help you to be having a very high speed internet over the mobile phone, and this will open so many doors for innovation and even for applications that needs high-speed internet. And of course this is very important aspect. We've seen the opening ceremony of the cloud services, the governmental cloud services data center, which is considered one of the most advanced data centers all over the world, not only on the level of the African continent or the Middle East, actually it's one of a kind all over the world. We've seen the secured network for transmitting the critical data over such a network. It's called the emergency network, and this also was actually launched during the presence of the President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. This is with respect to infrastructure, so you are trying to cope with the latest technologies, and you are actually implementing the latest technologies and up-to-date technologies in the sector of ICT infrastructure, because of course this is the backbone. You cannot build anything and you cannot have a competitive digital transformation initiatives unless you have a very solid, very robust, very competitive, up-to-date ICT infrastructure. And we've seen this during the COVID crisis, actually, when students and the labor force forced to work remotely, to study remotely. Actually, the Egyptian ICT infrastructure was able to cater such huge demand, such huge pressure on the network, and actually we survived the crisis even up to the international standards, because you were investing heavily in ICT infrastructure. That's why when we had, or the world faced, the outbreak of COVID virus, we were able to cater with such crisis, health crisis, and we were resilient enough to work remotely, to conduct our business remotely, and to study remotely. This one of the great examples, actually, of having a resilient, up-to-date ICT infrastructure. And
speaking of the economy, how do you think digital transformation will be transforming the economy of Egypt as well in the future, and more specifically with the technology that is being applied in Egypt nowadays?
Actually, if you consider ICT as an industry by itself, because it's an industry by itself, actually, yes, we are witnessing a compound growth of 16.7% annually, which is could be the triple of any growth with respect to any other economic sector. Yes. So this is one fact, and the other fact, our ICT exports exceeded 6.4 billion US dollars, and actually the ICT sector now is contributing by 5% to our national GDP, or gross domestic product. And of course we are aiming as a country to have ICT as one of the main contributors to the growth of the GDP by 10% by 2030, within the coming 5 years. Beside that, you cannot modernize any economic or social sector without having ICT. So it's both ways, actually. You are working on developing state-of-the-art ICT sector or ICT economic sector within the country. That's why you have now the training program. You have now that so many training programs starting at the age of 10, by the way.
Yes.
Not only for high school students or students in universities or the postgrad. Actually, we are now starting. We have initiatives that's starting at 10 for teaching kids how to use ICT tools, how to use AI tools, how to make a sort of digital marketing, or having a sort of the basics of cybersecurity, for example. And of course, the more if you go further in the more advanced years of education, the content itself is more developed. And even for the people who wants to change their career or having a sort of career shift, yes, this is open for them free of charge to be able to join this job market, because it's very promising, and always there is a need for more qualified calibers in this very important sector. So this one of the things that you need to have digital labors all the time, and no education system on the planet will give you such skills. The only way is to have the ability to learn how to learn, and the only way to do so is to go to apply through this platforms that actually introduced by Ministry of Communication Information Technology, free of charge for all Egyptians, depending on your skill level and the areas that you need to specialize in. So if you need to specialize in data sciences, in data analytics, in cybersecurity, in artificial intelligence, in embedded system, which is very important, another very important domain, because we can have software, embedded software in each single product on the planet. Actually, products becoming actually smarter, and the only way to do so is to have a sort of embedded software that's including the automotive industry, including the home appliances, and the list is very wide, and we cannot actually cover it. All the sectors that need such very important kind of technology. Also, now we are witnessing a real growth in the domain of startups. High-tech startups, because high-tech startups, they are totally based on having innovative product and services, and of course they are using technology to the maximum. They're employing the technology in every single aspect when it comes to their product and services, and now we are witnessing a real growth. If you look at the numbers that the Egyptian startups were able to attract over the last year, we are talking almost $1 billion direct investment in such startups. A single startup working in smart logistics system was able to attract more than $340 million in a single round of investment, because you have the great minds and you have the great innovators, and there is a lot of attention to such sector, that including availing seed funds, availing a kind of technical support, having a sort of incubators and accelerators to host such innovators, to help them boost their business, to help them reshape their business model, to help them actually to be ready for the market and even to the international market. So the ecosystem and the dynamics and the landscape of startups is witnessing a great growth over the last 7-8 years, and of course there is room for more, and now we have more than startups that becoming unicorns or valuated at $1 billion or more. And
yes,
if you look at any international report like Forbes 30 under 30, you can find 70% of such startups are coming from Egypt, and of course this is a great advantage for this very important sector, because startups are always disrupting the market and also disrupting the ecosystem, and by their innovation they actually could have a real impact, not only on the local level or the regional level, but also on the international level. So this is another very important sector that we are witnessing a real success, and as I said, there is always room for improvement, room for helping such great minds to become real enterprises and open their actually companies for more investment, and this will alter the investment landscape in Egypt, not only in the ICT sector but also in so many other economic sectors.
Yes, Doctor, allow me to be going to the other report of the daily debate for tonight, focusing on the Digital Egypt strategy, and it is main aim and main benefit of it is to be having more digital skills, more digital jobs in the future, and this will be happening in collaboration between the Ministry of Information Technology and Communications and 30 tech firms to be having more job skills and more digital skills for the future, and focusing on the great minds of Egypt. We'll be having more details in the upcoming report about such an important initiative, so stay tuned.